What is a statute of limitations? We've all heard that term. What does it mean? Well, it's simple to say, but it can be very, very complicated to actually apply to a certain legal situation. Simply, a statute of limitations is the period of time, usually expressed in terms of a number of years, that you have to file a legal claim. Now, what's very important to understand about that number of years is if you go past it, if you don't file your claim within that prescribed period of time, you have lost the right to file it forever. So in other words, the consequences are very, very significant. Now, so if you've been in a car accident, for example, or you found that your property, your home, is contaminated, or maybe you feel you've been injured as a result of a surgery, you believe possibly medical malpractice has occurred, or you're involved in a contract and you feel the other party to that contract may have violated it. Once you feel that you have been injured, or you have a significant question about whether you have been injured because of someone else's misconduct, including negligence, your statute of limitations has started to run. Now, let me say that again because it's very, very important. Once you even suspect that you may have been injured because of the negligence or other misconduct of another person or a company, your clock is ticking. Your statute of limitations is running. And the purpose of a statute of limitations is not to say that if you feel you've been injured by somebody else, you have to run out right away and file a lawsuit. No, the whole point of the statute of limitations is to give you a period of time to hire a lawyer and to do an investigation into whether or not you have a case that you can file in a court of law and to win. Now, that may sound simple enough, but sometimes it can be difficult to know whether you have been injured. Here's an example we see a lot at our law firm. Someone is told, for example, by the Environmental Protection Agency that there is a contaminant in their groundwater, a chemical, but maybe government also says the concentrations of that chemical aren't high enough to injure your health. So if we stop the story right there, have you been injured? Government is telling you that the chemical can't hurt you. Have you been injured? You may well have been injured. You have a dangerous chemical in your water that may damage your property, even if it doesn't injure your health. At that moment, that's close enough. There's a suspicion of injury. Your clock is probably ticking. Let's say you've been through a surgery or another medical procedure and it didn't come out quite right, the way that you expected or the way that you were told it might come out, right? And so a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a month after the surgery, you're not feeling right. Is your statute of limitations ticking? It might well be. You should go see a lawyer. Remember, you're going to see the lawyer under those kinds of circumstances where you have doubt, you have concern but not certainty about whether you've been injured. You're going to see the lawyer not to file a lawsuit right away, but to find out whether you have a viable legal claim. An investigation may be required. For example, in the case of environmental contamination, your lawyer may have to hire a scientific expert to find out if that level of contamination is enough that it can cause injury to health. The example of the surgery that perhaps didn't go as well as you had hoped. Your lawyer may need to hire a medical expert to decide to help you understand whether medical negligence has occurred. So this is why there is a statute of limitations. There's that period of time for you and your lawyer to conduct an investigation. But the important thing to recognize is once you have that suspicion, you should assume your clock is ticking. Don't delay. Go see a lawyer, and your lawyer can help you understand how much time you really have to file a claim, and most importantly, whether you have a claim in the first place.